Hey, and welcome back. I am Dennis Kane, and you somehow landed onto Disc, my channel. Basically, I teach a little bit of how to use Ableton. I mostly produce techno, and you'll see me. I'll post a little live jam session or stream of me making techno. Today, I'm going to show you guys how to make a nice lush pad in Ableton. This is basically a track that I'm just kind of working on and going through now. Yeah. Okay, so that's basically it. Nothing too fancy, nothing too special. But over the weekend, I went to a meetup here in Toronto. We have a local electronic music producer meetup, and a few of the attendees asked me how I make my pads and etc. in Ableton. So I thought I'd make a little video and post it. Solo this. So here's what the pad's doing. I got a bunch of things happening here. Let me turn all this stuff off, my compressor. Here's what we started with. So we started with this, which is just a little sequence I took from, I think, from this synth sample here, that's basically resampled it into my drone, and this is an effects, a drone effects pad that I made a long time ago. Just so I don't mess up the settings, let's duplicate that. So let's turn all of this off. There we go. Okay, so here we have the main sound, which is just a little sequence. But as you see here, with the frequency shifter, we can have a little automation here and just shift the frequency a little bit. Once we add the wet to it, we can give it some variation, right? Just a little bit of variation to kind of add some color and some movement to our pad, right? After that, we have a Berlin resonator, which I think is not used enough. A lot of people don't use the resonator, but I like these. It just fills out your frequency a lot more. Adding some wet to that, already it gives it a little bit more texture, and if you sweep back and forth, right? We get a little bit of sound. Then later on I add a little bit of stereo. Oh, this is Ableton, so just gives it a little bit of stereo to widen up the sound a little bit. I don't use this too much, but basically I use it on, just things that I want to widen up the sound in the higher end. Then after that, I add, let's close this, give some more retail, add a little bit more delay, some phase to it. Now with the phase, I try to, just, fool around with the poles and whether I want it on Earth or space. A lot of times I don't like to be on Earth, so, I put it in space. And I'm sure that's where most of us like to be. Next, we add some echo to it. That will give it a little more bounce. Right? Already we're seeing that the sound is evolving. The sound is getting a little bit more cleaner. Next, I add a little bit of chorus to fill out the sound even more. Right? It's getting lower, but we'll fix that in a second. And then next, to finalize it, we add some reverb to it. And already the reverb that I'm using is just a stock Ableton reverb. I had the decay time to 60, but like I said before, this is all to taste. So if I was working on another project, I might do something else. But on this project, I put it up. And then for the final, which I haven't mapped yet because Ableton only allows you to map 8 buttons. So this is just something that I use manually, whether I want more crunch or more hiss, right? And you could add an LFO to this and have this sweep around too, which will also give it some more movement. But with this, I can map this to my frequency shifter and then have that frequency shifter going back and forth. Let's do this. And just put it in a certain range. So that way, now it just ranges back and forth. Nice little melodic way, right? After that, I add a little bit more things of another sample of a little effects box that I like to use. This is just basically everything that I normally use on a track. So I set up my tracks in such a way so that if I create a new track, then it's already there, right? So I have things that I use in automation, and I have the things that I use constantly, which are my distortion, my reverb, these crisps for hats, which is just basically a vocoder that will, I'll add some feedback or some LFO to the dry, wet, or the release, just to kind of give my hat some spice, and then some stereo and some delay wet. To wrap it up, what we did here is we used a frequency shifter to shift the frequency of the sound back and forth to give it some movement. Then we added a Berlin, it doesn't have to be Berlin, but a resonator of something to kind of to fill out the sound more and add some more harmonics to the sound. And then next we added a delay, stereo to widen the sound even more. Then we added a phaser to give it some, just some extra character. Echo to bounce it around. Some chorus to give it some more character. And then some reverb to top it off, which will sit it in the back. And everything sums up to this. This is the track with the drone in the track as well. The side chain. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you do enjoy techno and enjoy the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and let me know what you think in the comments. And yeah, hope you enjoy making techno and being creative. Disc out.